Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to start chapter number 6, and it is part 1 of chapter number 6. So in this part we will take oxidation of different type of organic compounds. So first we are going to take oxidation of aromatic rings. So oxidation of aromatic rings having no activating groups, right? The rings which don't have any activating group like your hydroxyl group, OH group, or methoxy group, or we can have amine group. These are some activating groups, and in presence of these groups benzene ring can be oxidized. But if we don't have them in our benzene ring, then their oxidation with chromic acid or permanganate is not easy. It is very slow process. But what can happen in absence of these activating group, these side chain alkyl groups can be oxidized. So this alkyl chain is converted into carboxylic acids, right? If we are using chromic acid or we are using permanganate, then we can convert them into carboxylic acid. So if I am using here sodium chromate in presence of sulfuric acid, it will form chromic acid, and then it will oxidize this alkyl chain into carboxylic acid, right? And if I have this type of alkyl group attached with our benzene ring, then what will happen? The oxidizing agent will directly attack on the carbon which is attached with our aromatic ring. It will not oxidize the last carbon. Means we will, suppose I have this type of ring, right? So oxidizing agent will directly attack on this carbon, and other part will be removed. This part is cleaved and it will be removed. Only this carbon is attacked and it will be converted into carboxylic acid. So if I am using such type of aromatic ring, I will only get benzoic acid, right? So this point is very important, that it will directly attack on the carbon which is attached with our benzene ring, or you can say it as benzylic carbon. So it will attack only on benzylic carbon. This is the case when I am using chromic acid and permanganate. If I want to convert our alkyl chain into carbonyl, suppose my requirement is alkyl chain to carbonyl. So for this process I can use CrO3 in presence of acid anhydride and aqueous sulfuric acid, or I can use chromyl chloride. Chromyl chloride is CrO2Cl2 in presence of CCl4, and then we will use water. So they can convert this alkyl chain into carbonyl. Means in this case I will get CHO, aldehyde. Similarly this will be converted into aldehyde. If I have two methyl group attached in this ring, means in place of this Br, suppose I have this methyl again similar to this one, then this chromyl chloride will only attack on one CH3 and convert it into CHO. The second one will not be affected, right? So this is also an important point. So at this point we have seen different type of chromium compounds as oxidizing agent, right? We can also have different type of oxidizing agents like hypervalent iodine species like orthoiodoxy benzoic acid. It is also called as IBX, right? We will also see in later chapters the use of IBX, and in presence of this IBX plus DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, will selectively do oxidization of benzylic carbon. When we have this IBX, it will selectively do oxidation of benzylic carbon. Means only this carbon is affected because it is attached with this benzene ring. This one is benzylic, right? So only this one be oxidized, and it will oxidize to carbonyl compound. Means it will give us ketone here. So we have this one as oxidizing agent, or we can have tertiary butoxide. We have seen the use of tertiary butoxide in epoxidation. It can also do oxidation due to its additional oxygen in presence of ruthenium catalyst, right? So it will also attack on this carbon, benzylic carbon, and it will be converted into carbonyl, right? So at this stage, till this stage, we have seen different type of oxidizing agent, right? So you should know the use of these oxidizing agent. Then if my benzene ring is substituted with activating groups, till that stage, this stage we have seen the benzene ring which is not which is not active in nature, because there is no activating group attached on it. But if my benzene ring is substituted with a activating group, then what will happen? And this benzene ring will be converted into quinone, right? And we can use different type of oxidizing agent like Fremi's salt. Fremi's salt is KSO3 whole twice NO. Or we can have CAN. CAN is ceric ammonium nitrate. Or we can have DDQ. DDQ is dichloro-diphenylobenzoquinone, right? I have made a separate video on DDQ, then you can watch the use of DDQ there. So we can use any of these oxidizing agent, and then active benzene ring will be converted into quinone, right? So suppose I have this type of compound in which the benzene ring is activated by this presence of OH, and I am using Fremi's salt here, right? So what will happen? This one benzene ring will be converted into quinone, right? In this case, I have this benzene ring which is activated by these two methoxy groups, right, which are present on just opposite side of each other. And suppose I am using CAN here, ceric ammonium nitrate. So this part will remain untouched, it will remain as such. These two methoxy group will be removed and quinone ring will attach here. So I will not draw this part, suppose it is R, and this ring will be converted into quinone ring, right? And similarly in this case I have here two activating group, methoxy group and OH. So this one is more effective, so it will be converted into quinone. The methoxy ring, this methoxy group will remain untouched, and other groups like CHO and ester group will also remain unaffected. Again I am suppose using Fremi's salt, right? We will get this type of product. Then we have seen different type of oxidizing agents here, but they are not very frequently asked in net examination, but you should be familiar about them, right? But the important type of reagent is hypervalent iodine reagent, and especially this reagent. This is very, very important, right? So first I want to tell you the journal type of reaction which it can show. It is not given in the character, but I am giving you this information because I think it is very important reagent. So suppose you have a benzene ring attached with alcohol, and we have a Z group attached here. So this Z can be different type of groups. It can be OH, it can be H simply, or it can be your other type of activating group like OR, alkoxy group, right? So I am using here suppose PHIX2. I am writing this acetate part as X2 because in this case it is acetate. It can be of different type of carboxylate group in this reagent, but there is no effect of these groups on the activity of this reagent, mechanism of this reagent, right? So first step will be that this oxygen having lone pair of electron will combine with this iodine. Suppose I have this reagent like this. So lone pair of electron present on oxygen will attack on this, and one group will be removed. So it will attach like this. We will get this type of intermediate here. Now we can have three different possibilities. If this Z is equals to OH, and in this reaction we will also use alcohol, right? So if Z is equals to OH, then it will give me quinone. If this Z is equals to H, then it will give me quinone, and in this carbon we have OR group attached, right? And if this Z is equals to alkoxy group, then we will get this type of product, right? So we will take different examples based on this Z substituent, then with the mechanism of this reaction will be clear to us. But one thing is that we can have these different type of possibilities, and on the basis of that we will get different type of product. at this till this stage it is clear that this type of reaction is possible. If I have this type of reactant, then the reaction can give us spiro compound. Again we will form the same type of intermediate, right? This intermediate will form. Then this Z is generally the group. This Z is generally a atom which contains lone pair of electron. You can have nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur. This type of atoms can be present here. So this Z having lone pair of electron will attack on this carbon. This bond will shift here. This one shift here, and this will shift here. So we will get this type of spiro product, right? So we have seen the general mechanism here. Then we will move on to the examples given in Carothers. So in this case, I have this methoxy group having lone pair of electron. So first we have to form an intermediate like this, right? The next step will be the attack of this alcohol. Methanol will attack on this carbon. This bond will shift here. It will shift here. This methyl will migrate to this I, and we will get this type of product. So this example is similar to this one, right? When your Z is equals to a alkoxy group, so you will get this type of product, right? Then we have this one, in which again we have to form an intermediate like this, right? Next step will be the attack of this oxygen on this carbon. This bond will shift here, it will shift here, and this will be removed. So we will get a spiro type product, this one, right? Then next one is different, which is not given in Carothers, but I have seen this type of question in NET examination. That is why I have included this one in this slide. So again the mechanism will be same. This OH will first form an intermediate with this I, with this reagent, right? We will get this type of intermediate here. Then we have this methanol. So this methanol will attack on this carbon. This bond will shift here, and then this iodine complex will be removed, right? So this mechanism is little bit different, but you should remember that how to deal with that, right? So this type of reagent, the hypervalent iodine reagent, especially this type of reagents, are very important. So please do revision of all the different type of reactions which I have included here. It is not given in Carothers and Claydon. Then we will move on to different type of oxidizing agent, that is selenium dioxide. So we have seen the oxidation reaction of alkenes in previous chapters also, that is we are doing epoxidation, dihydroxylation, these all type of oxidation reactions, but we have not included the use of the selenium oxide. So I have included the different type of reactions of selenium dioxide from different sources. This much detail is not given in Carothers, but this reagent is very important. That is why I have included the more detailed version of it here. So first we will see the general mechanism of this selenium dioxide. But before that, few things should be clear in your mind, that this selenium dioxide attacks on allylic carbon. Allylic carbon means I have double bond, right? And on this one, this is allylic carbon, so it will attack on this and will convert it into alcohol, OH group, right? So it can form allylic alcohols. Similarly, it can attack on benzylic carbon, this type of carbon, right? So this should be very clear. Then we will move on to the reaction mechanism. So suppose I have this type of compound, right? So I can also write it down like this, okay? Then the selenium dioxide has a structure of like this, in which the selenium has partial positive charge, because electronegativity of oxygen is greater than selenium. So the shear lone pair of electron is shifted towards oxygen and it has partial positive charge. It means this selenium is electron deficient. Electron deficient means it will attack on the carbons which are electron rich. Electron rich, or you can say them activating active centers. It attacks on active centers. So this thing is very very important, right? Why it is important? That whenever you have to decide, you have to do selection between two type of double bond, then you have to look at the at those double bonds, that which double bond you have to identify, that which double bond is more electron rich, right? Only in that case you can use selenium dioxide and convert them into allylic alcohol, and the double bond which is electron deficient will remain unaffected. So we will see an example based on this one also, but first we will see the general mechanism. It will show n-type mechanism, that this oxygen having high electron density will attack on this hydrogen, this bond will shift here, this one will shift on this selenium. It is a pericyclic type reaction. So when it will attack on it, this part will attach with this carbon. So what you will get, and this oxygen will combine with this OH released at it from this carbon, and a new double bond will form here, right? Then we will do again a sigmatropic, shift here. So I can number this carbon as 1 because it is attached with this selenium part, right? So 1 2 3, and this one is, it should be written like this. I have to just flip the position like this. So this is 1, this is 2. So it will attack on this will shift here, and this will shift here. It will form this type of structure. This is your 2,3 sigmatropic shift. Then we can do hydrolysis. So we will get OH attached at allylic position, right? So we have seen that it attacks on allylic carbon and benzylic carbon. Then we have taken mechanism of it. Then we will move on to the some very very important point which will help you to determine that on which carbon this selenium dioxide will attack. First point is it attacks on more substituted carbon, and second point is that oxidation will be done to the carbon which is at trans position, right? Then we will take questions. And third point that we have included here, that the selenium is electron deficient, that is why it attacks on electron rich centers. So we have here 3 carbons which are allylic in nature. So how we can decide? That first point is attacks on more substituted carbon. This carbon is more substituted than this one, so it should attack either on this carbon or on this one, but it attacks at trans position, means it will attack on this carbon. We will get this product. Again one more example, this one is more substituted, this one at trans position, so it will be converted into OH. Then in this case we have this benzylic carbon, this one is also benzylic, and this one is allylic. So benzylic carbon is more activating, right? So preference will be given to benzylic. So we have to do oxidation of benzylic carbon. Then we have to see that which carbon is more substituted. This carbon is more substituted. Here we have 2 substitutions, here we have only 1 point here. So this carbon will be converted into OH like this. Then again we have this example here, this is more substituted and it will attack on trans position. So we will have oxidation at this carbon. Next we move to another example. So in this case we have 2 type of double bond. Now this theory comes here, that this selenium is electron deficient, so it attacks on electron rich center. So here we have this double bond which is close to this acetate group. Acetate group is electron pulling, so it will pull electron density towards it. So this double bond has comparatively less electrons than this one, right? So it will not participate because it has less electron density. And out of these 2, this one and this one and this, we have 3, not 2, 3 carbons. These 3, all of 3 are allylic carbon, right? So these 3 can be oxidized, but we know that the more substituted carbon will participate. So this is more substituted and this one is at trans position, so this will be oxidized. So we will get this type of product here, right? So we have seen this type of reactions of that allylic and benzylic carbon can be converted into OH. In addition to that, this selenium dioxide can convert carbonyls into 1,2 dicarbonyl compounds. Means we have here a carbonyl group, it can be converted into dicarbonyl compound like this, right? So this is also a one use of this selenium dioxide. So I have included all the important points of this selenium dioxide and hypervalent iodine reagents. These are the two important things in this chapter which you have to do very carefully, and I think this is very useful part. So I will finish today's chapter here. In next video I will take other oxidizing agents given in this book in more detailed way. So thank you so much for watching, and if you like my videos, please share my videos with your friends. Thank you.